We know people are using YouTube, right? We know video is so important and how much information people are getting from video and how you can create and add videos. This is the walkthrough. But before we get started with this, we have to make decisions. We can't just jump in cold into a channel and say, what am I going to do? You need to know who and what this is about and how you're going to do that. Our amazing phones are studios in and of themselves. Rarely do we need commercial kind of production, but it really depends on what the purpose is of your channel. What's its mission? All right, within your entire marketing plan, what's its job to do, and what does success look like, sound like, and feel like on the other end of that? Okay, so as you're looking at this, is a phone enough? Is it enough just to catch it in the instant so that people can be that fly on the wall and have a chance for a little bit of insider information or immediacy? Or are you positioning yourself, let's say, as an academic brand, an educational brand, perhaps a scientific brand? So being precise, being detail oriented, and being very, very high end in production is much more important to you. That's a decision you need to make before you start uploading videos to your channel, so you know exactly where you're taking and focusing your efforts. You don't want to do things and then have to backtrack and try to figure out what's going on. You don't want your YouTube channel to look like a hot mess drawer that you're just throwing things into like a junk drawer and people are trying to figure out what makes sense for them. You are the expert in your business, your industry, and your product, service, or solution. So for that reason, you want to expertly take them on a journey. And that's truly what your channel does. It takes them on the journey. So what story do you want to tell? What's most important to you? What's the purpose of that video? What does success look like? Think about these 3 questions before you get started. And who is the star of the video? Is it the product? Is it a customer or client? Is it your location? Maybe it's, I'm in Dallas, Texas. I'm in Austin, Texas, and we're right at the hub of everything tech and everything this. So really, in your case, in that video, Austin's the star. Maybe you're trying to entice people to come to Austin. Maybe you are working as a real estate agent with people who are transferring in for their job from Austin. So who's the star? Or are you the star? Who's the star? So that's very, very important. Now, some key points I want to tell you with your storytelling. The #1 story that brands do really well with on their YouTube channels, everybody ready to hear that? And it's the hero story, right? No matter who the hero is. It could be your client, it could be you and your service. Remember, facts tell, but stories sell. Which one was it? And I was using the once upon a time, suddenly, luckily, happily ever after. How? Once upon a time, there was a knock on the door. It was a family. I was 8 years old. My father's an insurance agent. You heard that at the very get-go. I dropped you right into the action, didn't I? So once upon a time, suddenly, there was a knock on the door. They were talking about their house had burned down. Luckily, Dad had come to the rescue. He evaluated everything and done all of his job properly. They didn't have to worry or stress about anything. Happily ever after, I decided, me too. I need to be like Dad. I wanted to be that champion for businesses or for residents or for families. Understand, that's the 5-year-old storyline. Once upon a time, suddenly, luckily, happily ever after. Now, you can do a straight business story like you see here, or even a product or service story. But again, you need to go back to that original slide that we started in, which is what's the story? What's the purpose? What do you want them to do afterwards? Do you want them to feel inspired? Do you want them to feel upset? Do you want them to feel motivated? Do you want them to feel thoughtful? What is it that you want? And then you can decide who's going to be the star, because maybe it's a promotional story. So you've done your hero story, you have that on your channel, and now you want a more promotional story, okay? So the best practices are to have a really clear and concise message. We don't have a lot of time. People are all time stressed and time deprived. In fact, if in TikTok, if you don't capture somebody's attention in 3/10, that's 3/10 of a second, you've lost it. So understand, we only have a few seconds there and you want to make that strong first impression. So 5 seconds is a lot, everybody. Just sit for a minute. And if you're used to being a chatty patty, then be quiet for 5 seconds. That feels like eternity. All right. And you also want to deliver a compelling call to action and timely offer. So remember what I said about the once upon a time, suddenly, luckily, happily ever after. But you just don't say those things out loud, right? All right. So the common techniques that you can see here are all different ways that we all take our videos. And if you have any questions about these, feel free to ask in the chat. But you'll see at the bottom left-hand corner, YouTube has some great examples for you. So you can look at the use cases that'll be most helpful to you. What works best for you? And you may have a variety. You might have one playlist that really focuses on top-down. Maybe it's, that top-down look of unboxing things. All right, so it could be unboxing of your products or services. It also could be maybe you're doing a voiceover. You need to look at your space. We all learned that, I think, when we went to video meetings. Look behind you and see what the camera picks up. Lighting is also important. Right here, as I'm standing here in front of you at my standing desk, I have two lume cubes at each corner. I've got a light overhead. I don't like the ring light. For me, it makes me look evil. You just see this horrible, I mean, like I got some evil eyes going on, everybody. So I'm not a ring light person, but I use two lume cubes. I don't sell them. I just use them and I love them. I've used them for years now. But the most important thing is sound. We will be forgiving of video. So if you're in the shadows somewhere, people can barely see you, they'll be forgiving of lighting, and even your unmade bed in the back, they'll be a little forgiving. I don't know what that does for your brand, but they'll be a little bit forgiving. But if it's crunchy and terrible, no, no, no. If they cannot hear it, if the West Texas wind is blowing you down or your fan is humming loud enough that your mic picks that up, or your mic's just terrible because you're using maybe a webcam mic and you need an outer mic, that's important. Okay?